Welcome back to a very special episode of Drip Fed Dread, the horror podcast where we talk about bullshit that's probably been rehashed 1,000 times. What are the odds? Kind of like a remake. I swear I didn't plan that. Today I am your host. There will be blood. Oh yes, there will be an abundance of blood, but you got to keep it rated PG-17. Dill. And today we are going to be talking about a pivotal fact. Opinion of mine, and that is why the movie Freddy vs. Jason has to be a masterpiece. And a lot of people want to dog on this film. Ever since I was a kid, people are like, they really rushed that one. That was not a good film by any circumstance. And I just want to say right now, first and foremost, Ronnie Yu, who directed this movie and also directed Bride of Chucky, has such a phenomenal style in making films. Like, it has this creepy, dark aesthetic to it, that early 2000s vibes, along with the music choice he chooses. This guy deserves a fucking stomp clap type shit, because Ronnie Yu, you're underrated, and I appreciate you. Direct more horror remakes, dude. Let's see you do like a Leprechaun movie, dude. That'd be gas. But let's get to the real point. Freddy vs. Jason, 2003, American slasher. It's a 20-year anniversary of this movie. This movie came out in summer of 2003. It's 2023 now. That's not why I'm doing this. This movie just weighs heavy on my mind. Would I say it's in my top 5? Absolutely not. Jason, I am a ginormous fan of you, my guy. Oh, I love your work in that one movie, dude, where you, like, kicked the radio. That shit was funny, dude. But if they were playing, like, Someday by Glass Tiger and you kicked my radio, bro, I would chop you up personally. Yes, I would. Yes, I would. No, you cannot have a sip out of my Gremlins cup, Jason. But I think it's top 7. I don't know. Maybe one day I'll rank my personal top 10 favorite horror movies of all time, even though y'all already know number 1. If you don't, figure it out. Do some research, detective clues. Freddy vs. Jason. Why is this movie a masterpiece? Let's talk about that. Let's just fucking first get into the deets of why I think this movie is a masterpiece. Oftentimes when you collide two existing IPs, you have to make it make sense. And essentially, I feel like the story that they crafted for this script couldn't have been any better. For example, they wanted to do, after the success of Freddy vs. Jason, they wanted to do a fucking cinematic intertwine of Pinhead versus Michael Myers called Halloween, and that is a dope-ass name, but the plot didn't really add up. Like, I guess a bunch of people were at Michael Myers' house when they found the lament configuration in there, and supposedly Michael Myers has grown to have this, how you say, fucking reputation of being the embodiment of evil, and that is derived from Pinhead making him that way. And it's a cool idea, but there are plot holes through it bigger than Mikey Myers' eyes. What you talking about, Spawn? I'll fuck you up. Goat, pussy. And I feel like this movie nabbed it, like Alien versus Predator. I don't really know the plot to that one too much, but it can't be too good. I mean, it probably is great. Should I review Alien versus Predator? Anywho, the reason I like this also is because for the longest time, there hadn't been a Freddy Krueger movie. Like, I think it was 10 years to the date that Freddy Krueger had appeared in a movie. Jason, he had Jason Goes to Hell, Jason X, and I feel like this movie is in the Jason Friday the 13th franchise. Like, I feel like it's not a standalone movie. If you had to, like, put it in a franchise, it's definitely Jason's movie. The star that kept going, as opposed to the icon that was rendered back and brought the attention back into Friday the 13th in the horror game. It's like, when a new band has like, hey, we got the singer of fucking Bring Me the Horizon to feature on our track. It's like, oh, your band kind of sucks. And like, I don't fuck with Bring Me the Horizon, but the name, that's cool. Anyhow, they start off with Freddy and he's pissed. He's humbly devastated because he's like, these bitches don't remember my name. Like, remember that song by Drake? Motherfuckers never loved us. I'm on my worst behavior. Remember? Motherfuckers. Like, that's how the kids of Elm Street are treating Fred. Because they didn't know about him. Like, the parents grew up and they're like, nobody say his name. Like, they gave him a Lord Voldemort type shit treatment. And he's pissed. So he's like, how do I reinstate my monthly membership of tormenting and slashing up little fucking teenagers played by 35-year-olds? And he's like, oh, I think I got an idea. He searches the bowels, the annals of history to find the person that can do it. And apparently, Jason Voorhees, a dead ghost like mutant. You know who fucking Jason is, that torments the living hell out of Camp Crystal Lake. And this is where I think it gets genius to me. First off, I'm actually going to make a little side debate. I feel like lately, Art the Clown, he is the next big horror icon, and people want to talk shit. They're like, there's too many plot holes in the Terrifier. There's too many things that don't add up, but they're allowing Jason Voorhees to die as a kid and come back as a hulking menace 6'5" monster. So make that make sense. Fuck Michael Myers. I'll never do a Michael Myers video, so don't ask me. Don't comment that down below, because I won't do it. So Freddy, he essentially wants these kids to remember him, and he uses Jason as a pretty much like a fucking espionage, assistant to evoke the fear. He's like, hey buddy, I'll wake you up, and you're gonna kill all these kids for me, but they're gonna think it was me. And Jason, he's dumb, so he's like, yeah, I'll kill people, fuck it. But this is where it gets genius. He goes into Jason's dreams to convince Jason that his mother wants that. Like, how brilliant is that? Especially when you don't get to see the inner workings of serial killers. Like, I feel like Freddy, he has that more comedic, darker side to him. And then Michael Myers, Art the Clown, Jason, they're the quiet types that you don't really get much unless it's explained through lore and urban legend and hearsay, rumors, like talk shit, find out, but you never get the direct word of mouth from these villains. So to see Freddy go into Jason's dreams and see that he is vulnerable and, cognitive about what's happening and about how his past really did traumatize him, that was fucking brilliant to me. So he sends Jason back to Elm Street to just pick apart some slashers. Yeah! Pick apart some teenagers, and Jason is a fucking ominous killing machine, so he can't stop doing it. I'm sorry that Jason Voorhees loves killing so much that he can't stop doing it. And Freddy's getting peeved by this, like, because you're reading the title, like, it should be Freddy and Jason against the world, like a rom-com, a bro-com, a bromance. But Jason just can't stop fucking people up, and Freddy's like building up his power slowly. Like, there's this one scene where he goes to attack a dude, but he is like the smoke figure because he's not strong enough. He feeds off fear. It's a common theme in horror, from Pennywise to Freddy Krueger to Jeepers Creepers. Feeding off fear is the key power to making a killer strong. And I feel like that is another cool thing, because it almost teaches you, don't be scared because you're feeding into it. It's like when people say, knock on wood, like, bitch, like, don't talk about it. I'll never say Bloody Mary in the mirror 3 times. I'll never do it. Because fear has such a way of crawling beneath our skin. Who's will I heal type shit. And don't copyright me for singing that, because last video I posted, I said I will never put Betty Davis eyes in my video because I'll get copyright flagged. And then as a joke, I put it in the video at the end, and I got copyrighted. And I want that to be my theme song. Whoever owns the rights to Betty Davis eyes, I think I sang it like exactly like that the last time. Let me use your song. Like, that'd be such a funny intro. A beautifully well-rounded intro. So Jason's slashing, gashing, all around killing, all around going around bitches like, ooh. And he's killing them, he's hurting them bad. And Freddy's getting fucking pet peeved by this. He's like, you're taking all my kills, Buster, man. And while this is happening, there is this girl at the forefront named Lori, played by Monica Keena. And she had a tortured past, like a lot of like a lot of teenage middle-class white Americans do. And her mom died tragically, and her boyfriend randomly left her. They were in love since they were kids, childhood sweethearts, and she's just tormented. She doesn't want to move on from Will, played by Jason Ritter, I believe, who is it Jason Ritter? I'm going to look at my computer screen now. I'm trying not to look at it too much. Played by Jason Ritter, the late great John Ritter's son, both phenomenal. And, you know, she's just having a little get together with her friends, a soiree, if you will. And that's when Jason comes in and kills them. And right off the bat, I feel like this is a good rendition of a final girl in a way. Like, I feel like, you know, you have Nev Campbell from Scream. You could argue that the character Sienna from Terrifier 2 is becoming a final girl herself. Laurie Strode. Jodie Foster from Silence of the Lambs. So there's so many fucking final girls that get the recognition. But I feel like Laurie from Freddy vs. Jason got kind of swept under the rug, which is bullshit, because I feel like she's phenomenal. She has the looks, the talent. Her backstory was believable, and you cared for her. Sure, she's a little bit whiny at times, but what would you do if a dream demon and a fucking ghost of a dead boy turned giant was chasing you? You'd be devastated. So we're at this cross where you had to merge these two franchises. Freddy could not kill these people because they forgot about him. He used Jason to be his vehicle of fear, and Jason took it too far. It's like, hey, bro, you want to help me pick up this girl? And then the dude ends up falling in love with her. It's like there's something about Mary. He hires a private investigator to pick up details on his high school sweetheart, and the investigator flips a script on him and dates her instead. Like, that's coming of age. That's art. That's beautiful. I'm saying this movie is a lot like There's Something About Mary. And it's just sheer brilliance. The casting is great, you know, from Monica Keenan to Kelly Rowland in this. I don't want no scrub. A scrub is a guy who wears a fucking Freddy Krueger sweatshirt. You know, the two kids that were in like those Goosebump episodes. Or Are You Afraid of the Dark? Lachlan Monroe, who I love. I love Lachlan Monroe, like the dude who's like in like Scary Movie, Little Man. I think he was in that new Totally Killer movie. I just always thought he was funny, and to see him as a more serious role as the cop was cool. And this movie, like, other than the plot, is just brilliant from start to finish. Like, there's no bad kills in this movie. There is not a single hint of lag. Like, from start to finish, it's a banger. The story is cohesive. You find out that her boyfriend that randomly disappeared, Laurie's boyfriend, was sent to a mental institution because he saw Laurie's dad kill Laurie's mom. And they're taking these pills that essentially, like, stops you from dreaming. And that's a beautiful tie-in because they need these type of pills to stop Freddy Krueger. And a lot of these kids are taking them. Like, their parents are, like, mickeying them with these pills. And then they're like, I don't really have dreams much, you know? And they don't think about it. And that's another brilliant thing where it's like these parents are trying to be supportive and protective of their kids while kind of doing fucked up things on the side, like the dude killing his wife. And, you know, Will and his homeboy break out of the mental institution, and that's when the lore of Freddy is really smacked across the face of the kids of Elm Street, or the whole town. I don't know, does he kill other than Elm Street? That's the ultimate question. And so you have this band of teenagers trying to stop Freddy and almost helping Jason, which is cool too because they know how maniacal and crazy and almost like belligerent he is, but they're like, we gotta help Jason kill Freddy. So Freddy is ultimately the villain of this movie. Jason is kind of the good guy, the anti-hero.
You're gonna try to peg me as the villain, fat boy? What are you, a bitch?
Oh, fuck off, Freddy. I'm not gonna let you say bitch on my channel. I'm not gonna get demonetized because of you, pal.
I guarantee you nobody even likes your channels. I see you dream about all the time. The consistency of flaws you have. You wake up screaming and crying.
Oh, yeah, okay, buddy. You think you're so fucking slick with that cheeseburger pepperoni pizza face of yours. You're a dummy.
You're not a nice guy. Jason, let's get out of here, dude. They're trying to fucking talk shit about us.
I will pimp slap you. And it is really cool. But a lot of people, they just dog on this movie, and I could never understand why. I feel like this movie is genuinely, like, top tier. Is it because the two IPs clash? Is it because it wasn't what people expected? Is there a bunch of haters? Like, what is wrong with this movie? If you hate this movie, like, tell me down below. What is so bad about this fucking movie? Because it is a genius concept, you know, especially from the fight scene, too. Like, you get this build of Freddy versus Jason. It's not just like, hey, there's two existing characters from different franchises that hate each other because that's showbiz, baby. Like, there's a reason why. Like, Freddy wanted Jason to be his home dog, like his bro for life. Like, there's a tear coming down Freddy Krueger's face. And they're like, why do you fuck with Jason so much? And he just goes, because man's his bro, type shit. And Jason flipped on him. So there's this heated building anticipation of why do they hate each other. Because it doesn't just start off like, two fucking villains are going to fight each other. And people are going to be fucking casualties in the way. It's like, no, they tried to band together. And there's this awesome scene in a cornfield. I think it's a cornfield. But all in all, it's just a great film. And then you see later on when Freddy and Jason are fully getting heated against each other, Jason shows a vulnerable side where Freddy then in turn goes back into his dream and can see that he's just a scared, insecure little boy. So they're really painting like Dumb and Dumber type shit, where it's like mean and meaner, like who is the actual villain of these two, because there's always got to be someone a little bit more chaotic and evil, and Freddy is just tormenting Jason, where Jason just can't have enough. And it is just such a fucking great movie. Like, my only little discrepancy is that they could have, I know in scenarios like this you can't really have a final winner because you'll piss off like 50% if not more of the fans, and like you just want everyone to walk out of the movie happy, but they should have really nailed the landing with the winner. Someone should have won, and that could have been the end of it. Especially that you see that since then Freddy Krueger hasn't done anything. Like, there was a remake where Robert Englund didn't reprise his role. Anyone could play Jason, and the 2009 Friday the 13th was better than the 2010 Nightmare on Elm Street. So if they just killed off Freddy right there, that would have been another solidified reason not to ever bring him back, because Robert Englund himself said he doesn't want to come back anyway, so that could have been brilliant. It's like when they let fucking Roman Reigns beat The Undertaker. Like, what the fuck? So yeah, I highly advocate this movie. Like, it is just well-paced, smartly written, high-tensioned, great acted, and all in all, just a fucking phenomenal movie. I remember it was like my birthday, and I was maybe like 7 or 8, and my mom's like, what do you want? I was like, I just want Freddy vs. Jason on DVD, because my friend was hyping it up. He saw it in theaters. I would write like at the time I didn't realize that fan fiction was a thing, but I blatantly like plagiarized Freddy vs. Jason in my mind of what I thought it would be like, and I wrote like stories over it, and I got it finally for my birthday, and it terrified me. Like, to this day, it's one of the few movies that scares me. I don't know why. Something about like that dream shit creeps me out. Jason, badass. And all around, it's a good movie. So that's the video, y'all. If y'all fucked with this shit, subscribe, hit that little ding-ling button that harasses you saying, hey, it's me, I'm here, and I'm gonna say it one time, give me a hell yeah for horror. I am Team Jason, so do with that information as you will. Please don't unsubscribe.